Taugshow number 9, our Robert Exotica special. And now a big fat applause for our host, Johannes Grenzfurtner.
Ladies and gentlemen, an old picture of myself, and of course, a warm welcome to our content manager, Roland Krach! Okay. Found it on Flickr. I'm sure they tagged it. Right! Okay.
When I was old.
What?
When I was old.
Well, yeah. So you have a negative count in your lifespan. Okay,
yeah.
Good. Okay, so welcome to Taugshow number 9. This time, once again, in the lingua franca of the capitalist world in English. Okay, so
bad English,
of course. Yes, that's right. Actually, maybe I have to tell like a little story about our costumes, because we wanted to have like Rob Exotica, the festival for cocktail robotics, and we thought of lounge lizard, stuff like that, and we went to a theater and asked for costumes, and they had like really, really wonderful white trousers and stuff like that, but it didn't fit, and now we look like a mix-up between like Howard Rheingold and the Unabomber, so it doesn't really work, but I hope Howard is not mad about us, and the Unabomber is like, he's in prison, or where is he? Or did he kill himself?
We got him.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Good. Taugshow number 9, special Robo Exotica. So, what's Robo Exotica for all the people who are not familiar with the concept? Until recently, no attempts have been made to publicly discuss the role of cocktail robotics as an index for the integration of technological innovation into the human Lebenswelt, or to document the increasing occurrence of radical hedonism in man-machine communication. Yes? Robo Exotica is an attempt to fill this vacuum, and is the first and therefore leading festival concerning cocktail robotics worldwide. It's like, let's call it a micro-mechanical change of paradigm in the age of borderless capital. Yes, I was going there. Alan Turing would doubtless test this out, I would say. Yeah. Okay, so robotics. AI research. What? Interesting concepts, but AI researchers are stuck in an eternal spasm of intelligence. The first efforts to create artificial intelligence date back to the 60s, when Armstrong was like plodding around in the Mare Tranquillitatis. Well, modernity had invested its victory prey into moon rocks, and everything seemed possible. And the first artificial brain was foreseen to exist at the turn of the century, and in fact today I do not even trust my toaster. So what could we do? Yeah, Hubert Markel, he is a biologist and president of the Max Planck Society for Promotion of Sciences. Yes, he summarizes.
I'm very skeptical when it comes to forecasts about what will be in 30 or 50 years. We feel provoked to foresee how we will extend our frontiers. I mean, each generation makes a new venture. If it wasn't this way, that would mean the sudden end of what we call human creativity, human ability of innovation.
Thus, we know nothing, just that we are creative. Okay. We'll see what will be in the future, and until then, we'll be fed with half-done popular cultural and popular scientific outpourings, and I recommend spit it out, cocktail robotics forever, cheers. Yeah. Yeah, applause. So, we don't have any robots here tonight. Well, maybe there's a robot waiting for us, but we have a couple of really interesting guests from Mexico. El Chupacabra Libre, yeah. Okay, so they are called, I hope I can pronounce them correctly, they are called La Trinchera, or is it correct? Like Trinchera. La Trinchera, okay. So, a warm welcome to La Trinchera. Okay. You are visual artists, and we invited you to make, like, let's call it a visual layout for tonight. And let's have a look. You're working with 16mm projectors and other, let's call it like dead media formats. And looking forward to see that you'll like spill a visual cast on our show tonight. Okay, thank you very much for being here. I would say our visual artists set up their wonderful projection tools, and now it's time to introduce you to the first special guest of tonight's talk show. It's like, he's the Tolkien of underground. Let's call it that way. It is Vale from San Francisco, California. And I think it's the first time in Vienna, and it's a wonderful, warm, and emotional moment for all of us to have him here, have a short interview with me in the talk show. Vale. It's really, really very special for me because in 1988, when I was like 13 years old, or maybe it was in 1989, I'm not sure, I bought your industrial culture handbook, and it completely blew my mind. It was like one of the really, really special moment in my life, and I think shortly after I had this strange idea of starting a fanzine called Monochrom about art and politics and whatever crap I was thinking about, and Frankie and a couple of other guys like helped me starting it. And it's really wonderful that you're here tonight. And we have a picture of yourself. You see it on the left side? You see?
Oh no!
What's that? What time was it?
That had to, geez, judging by the hairdo, that had to be the 70s before punk rock.
Okay. I mean,
Where did you get that?
Actually, you sent it to me. Okay. So,
our technical department sent it.
Yeah, the technical department. Okay. I think the technical department is somewhere in the audience. Spot here somewhere. Okay, so you're publishing now, like over 30 years, books about underground culture, covert culture, subculture. So could you give us a short wrap-up why you started publishing fanzines and books about subculture? Why?
I think everybody who starts publishing things like research or fanzines does so because they're very angry. They're angry because they're completely surrounded by corporate media that's giving a certain point of view, and it's often the stories are written by outsiders. They don't have any real essence of truth. They don't have any real incendiary ideas. They just exist. Any reporting that goes on just really exists to co-opt and make safe any possible subversiveness that might be expressed.
Yeah, but nowadays, I mean, a certain way of subversiveness is even like forced by capitalism. So when you think about like, let's say, design companies, stuff like that, I mean, corporations like Nike have advertisement campaigns where they use like stencils and graffiti and stuff like that. So how could we like escape the moment that the subculture somehow will be subsumed by capitalism?
Well, you just do what you can. You know, I mean, it's just like one person at a time. I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling that I wouldn't even be here right now if I hadn't done this book in 1983. I mean, who knew that this book could travel like 6,000 miles and find you? I mean, that's and that's the way life can work, though, and that's the way ideas can work. I think if you just have a few people, it really takes just a few people to do anything. I mean, look at Monochrom putting on this amazing international festival. I mean, it's just a handful of people.
Together shifts, I have to admit, but yes.
Oh, sorry. Shifts, yes.
But
Let us
like
not forget
corporations,
shifts.
yeah.
Well, it's just a very small partnership can get an amazing amount done if they all have the same vision.
Yeah. Okay, so...
It's a secret.
Yeah, I mean, one of your last publications, it's here, it's Pranks. We have it in a virtual version here too, like on the big screen here. So Pranks number 2 was published I think 10 years after Pranks number 1 was published. And still you're interested in the concept of pranking or pranks. So could you explain us a little bit what's so special about pranking?
Well, I tried to argue. I mean, you can make words mean anything you want to. That's the beauty about doing your own publishing that you have 100% control over. And I decided that the word prank really did apply to a lot of what I called art, or what I thought of as art. In other words, destabilizing conventional ideas about it and kind of limited and really just wrong ideas about what reality might be. Because actually I'm a big fan of surreality or surrealism. And so I can't, like J.G. Ballard said, I don't just walk down a street. I walk down the street and I try to transform the street in my mind. It's just like an exercise you can do. You don't have to accept any kind of given reality. And I don't know, the best artists, I think, were kind of pranksters. I think of Duchamp. I don't think he was completely serious when he drew the mustache on Mona Lisa, or tried to pawn a men's urinal off as a sculpture. I mean, that had to be a prank. I mean, and yet he's considered the father of 20th century art, at least to me.
And it's interesting that somehow, like every big prank, somehow ends up in a museum. But this is good or is it bad?
Well, it's probably good, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm a firm believer in history. I think history is really important. I think we're in this time now in which there's almost no consciousness of history anymore. I mean, it's like it's being lost so fast. And any kind of subversive historical continuum that we can sort of preserve, I mean, at least it gives a chance that future generations will pick up and use that as an inspiration, because it really doesn't do any good to even talk unless you're trying to offer some kind of inspiration. Otherwise, why talk?
I mean, like we are like in the 5th or in 6th information revolution now, like in 3 years, maybe. So it's always like interesting when people talking about like information and information revolution and stuff like that. Nowadays, I mean, like a pretty easy concept like Flickr, where you just like upload your pictures, could be something really revolutionary, because the interesting part is not like uploading the picture to a server, but the possibility like of everybody like on the globe who would have access to a laptop could access the pictures. So, but on the other hand, you were talking a lot about the so-called information overload. And I'm a little bit skeptical about information overload, because that it smells like cultural pessimism a little bit. And I can't stand like Neil Postman for his cultural pessimism. So what do you think? So isn't there like a good side of information overload too?
Well, there obviously is an information overload. I mean, I don't know about you, but whenever I start to surf the web, I wake up about 3 hours later realizing that I completely forgot what I started searching for to begin with. I mean, I don't think I'm the only person who suffers this. So, yeah, I do like certain aspects of, well, let's say, I'm afraid I do buy a book at Amazon, which is the #1 enemy of bookstores. And I'm a big fan of real, brick and mortar stores. But yes, when you need a book right away and you can't find it, you use Amazon, and they do have that little program that, people who bought this book also bought da-da-da. And sometimes you actually do make discoveries.
It was very interesting. I think a couple of years ago at Ars Electronica in Linz, Ars Electronica, they featured a really interesting project. I think it was called Fire whatever. I can't remember. Something with fire. Not Fox, but whatever. And what? Firefly. Yeah. And Firefly basically was, I think it was like an art project, I can remember, but it was basically like promoting something like this. When you read that, you possibly like this one, and they did it with music. And I thought, that's an interesting like art project presented at Ars Electronica for like a way to find out about music that you might like, but you haven't heard about yet. So, so what could we do? Like, obviously we don't get a 48-hour day, so,
Well, that's information overload, right?
Okay.
I mean, think of, geez, I was just trying to ask a professional art critic the other week, how many artists are there now? Because there was a book that came out in the early 70s called The Painter.
Joseph Beuys says everybody's an artist, so we have a big problem.
The Surrealists said that too.
Yeah.
I kind of go along with that, or everyone could be an artist. And everyone latently is an artist because they were, at least in kindergarten.
Yeah.
That much I know.
Okay.
But I mean, and then you get in the question of what's an artist. Well, somebody maybe who's making their living selling art. And in the early 70s, I think it was estimated there were about 10,000. I think there has to be about 1 million now. And how can you possibly memorize all their biographies and their curriculum vitaes and their portfolios and all that?
A good friend of mine, Johannes Ulmer from Mainz, he had this like really interesting talk with me a month ago, and he said he knows so many people doing creative stuff and that are artists in his like social like surrounding, that most of the people don't have time to look at the work of the other people. So they're just like many, and I see that in Vienna too. There are so many people doing really interesting projects, but I can only like attend like 25% of all of them because I don't have the time because I'm like doing my own crap. So
don't call it crap. Come on, it's real art.
I mean, 95%.
It's real crap.
It's real crap. Yeah. And 95% of all cultural output is crap. So I hope that like a couple of our projects are in the 5% range. But no, let's see.
Well, wait, you're asking me. What were you asking?
Nothing. Okay, maybe we could go to the next picture. Because you see there is atrocity exhibition. And you're a big friend of a big friend, actually I would say, and fan of J.G. Ballard, or?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So could you tell a little bit, why are you like obsessed, or why do you love J.G. Ballard?
Oh, I would love anybody who was so amazingly accurate at predicting the future and illuminating my own perverse, whatever it is, unconscious, is that what Freud would call it? We are in Vienna after all.
Yeah. We started all this stuff. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Freud is one of the most amazing novelists that ever lived, but it's not my insight to say that. It was Ballard's. And what do you do when you find an author that practically every line he writes you agree with? I think you have to then kind of focus on that author, try and collect every interview he ever did, sort of do the underlining of the great quotes, and do a lot of thinking about it. And then if you're like me, you end up over 20 years publishing 4 books by him.
No? Are they selling?
You're not supposed to ask that.
Yeah.
Actually, the Atrocity exhibition, which was considered completely uncommercial and which was pulped in America, there's only something like maybe a dozen copies surviving because Nelson Rockefeller ordered it all destroyed, and the only reason there are copies existing because, thank goodness, there's always like mailroom clerks and lowly positions that people who actually can preserve culture, who get away with it. And the Atrocity exhibition turned out to be one of my best sellers. I think it's actually sold something like 60,000 copies since I did it. And I just tried to make it more palatable by adding over-the-top medical illustrations. I don't understand why they haven't been busted, for obscenity, but they haven't, because they're scientific. And I don't know. It's the presentation that I did helped sell it, I'm sure. The photos and the over-the-top illustrations, like the cover.
Okay, I have a present for you. Just have to find it. I think it's a little magical gift from Austria. It's a bottled holy water. So,
wow.
I'm not sure what it will do to you. I mean, you can drink it, you can shower with it, I don't know, you can rub yourself with it, I don't know. But it's actually official Austrian holy water.
I can't believe that.
Here it is.
Vienna, Austria, the incubation room for psychoanalysis still tolerates religion.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strange gesture. Maybe I have an Oedipus complex or stuff like that. I give the man that gave me Industrial Culture Handbook a fucking bottle of holy water.
Wow,
but it's the only gift I can give you.
This is really a beautiful work of art. I mean, it's almost secessionist. Or do you call it Jugendstil in the aesthetics? Man, it's really beautiful. Now that's art.
Yes. I mean, I'm so sorry, but I see a big red light over there, and it means our time is over.
Well, thanks.
I'm so sorry for not being able to talk to you longer, but we have a couple of other guests, and it was really a pleasure having you in the talk show.
Thank you, Johannes.
Give him a hand. Bravo! Magnifico, magnifico. Yes! And now I see a line on my short little schedule, and it says Krach. And Krach is our special music guest of today. So, Krach, come on! Come on, Krach! Yeah! Ready, Krach! Krach! I can't believe it! Don't be afraid. Just a musician. Okay? So, where? No. Come on. And don't get too close to my girlfriend. She has a latex allergy. So, okay. Oh, come on.
Can I help?
Does it work? Okay. You, can I do it? Yes.
Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, angenommen, Sie hätten gern ein neues Auto. Wir haben uns entschlossen, Ihnen mit unseren wertvollen Computer zu helfen, klar, dass Computer vor jeder Arbeit immer erst eine Diagnose machen. Unser Computer will Ihnen helfen. Unser Computer will Ihnen helfen. Mit Hilfe einer Lochkarte füttern Sie deshalb diesen Computer mit Ihren persönlichen Daten und Wünschen.
It's a robot slowly moving to a beat. Yes. Okay. I think Krach will be our because I'm not sure if Krach should go off the stage again. So please stay up there, Krach. And it's good. And our
You can't
visualist
sit, but-
from Mexico will project onto you. Oh, come on.
Oh, that's...
What happened? Okay. Yes, but in the meantime, while he's standing up there, I would say our next guest, a regular guest in our show, is Magistra Evelyn Ferlinger. Hello.
Microphone.
Microphone. You have a column in our talk show, and it's called Wicked Words.
Wicked words, actually.
Wicked
Wicked words. Didn't we learn that
Words.
last time?
Two
Words.
episodes ago. Wicked Words.
Words. Long central vowel.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Actually, I'm totally scared because our guests are so high profile tonight.
Yeah, high profile.
And I don't know if
and
I
they're
can-
native speakers.
If I can live up to that expectation, plus
Yeah.
what you wanted me to do was to provide nerdy linguistic topics.
Yeah,
so
because your topic is linguistics, so you have to talk about linguistics, but I think the percentage of nerds here is quite big.
So I was searching my mind
Yeah?
a lot
And what did you
until
find?
yesterday, and the only thing I could come with is, I've attended quite a couple of linguistics lectures, and one of the professors was, he was only mentioning it, so I'm not really good on this topic, but I think the nerdiest that linguistics can get. It's a rather recent concept of thinking about linguistics, and we could compare it with, everybody knows the theory of the selfish gene and the following selfish meme. And, there's, of course, linguistics wants to be up to date. So they were thinking about having a selfish phoneme. So
Okay.
the basic idea is,
What's a phoneme?
a phoneme is, you establish the phonemes of a language by finding minimal pairs. A minimal pair would be like bird and turd, because the word is completely alike, but then you have one phoneme that distinguishes those. So if you have a minimal pair, you have established a phoneme.
Okay.
So we have now established B and T.
Like how many phonemes are there in cocktail?
K, O, K, T, A, L. That's phonemes.
Great. Okay.
So the selfish phoneme theory would basically say that phonemes are parasites and they use the human brain as the host. So if a phoneme wants to be very successful, it should probably be a phoneme of one of the Indo-European languages, because sounds like we have click sounds in African languages that would be like stuff like that, and those, yeah. So in Africa there's languages that make use of these sounds. You can So a sound can be anything that the human larynx is able to produce. But we only pick a certain set of the sounds we can produce to make a language.
Okay.
And the selfish phoneme theory is like, yeah, if these phonemes that aren't so successful will die out because the languages will die out, which we also discussed like on last show about the dying languages in Europe, which is very, very sad. You remember the long list we had of the dying languages in Europe?
All are.
But all the screen was full of dying languages. And that was only Europe. I can't even think about how many Native American languages are dying out every second.
Okay.
Cleveland, Ohio.
I mean, I have a...
No, but that was kind of the nerdiest thing I could come up with. I hope that's nerdy enough.
Fine. Let's find out.
I mean, the human brain as the host for parasitic sounds. Isn't that nerdy? I think it is.
I have a box of chalk. Okay.
Cool.
So it's a little bit like abstract what you're talking about.
Is it?
Could you draw it down on the floor a little bit?
Sounds?
Yeah.
Well, I can draw.
Try.
I can.
You get the blue one. I think that's something like Freudian now. Okay?
Sure. So I can draw minimal pairs. So you would have like.
Yeah. You are casting a shadow on your beautiful art.
Yeah, I'll go away soon.
Okay.
So you could have like a minimal pair, job and
Job. I mean,
Come on.
come on.
So we have now established the sounds. J,
Job, Bob,
And
slob.
B,
Yeah.
What's a slob?
slob.
Like a
That's
slob.
two sounds. That's not a minimal pair, I'm afraid. But
Mr. Spellavich is wrong. Okay.
so, but I can't really draw. I can draw a human brain, but I don't know.
Please. I mean,
So it's
Always
usually
wanted to see one.
we have like two hemispheres, and the sounds are in here. You
it
know,
looks like a screw from the top.
you get.
But
I can draw the long central vowel. It's my favorite.
I have to add the reptile brain here.
The limbic system,
The
yeah,
limbic
very,
system, yes.
very important. Then we have all this, zzz, the
You like
label
chalk?
sounds and everything. And now let's call that minimal pair.
Okay.
That is very important. Minimal pairs. Everybody should know this vocabulary.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want to be a linguist, you should. But that's basically my theory. So there's the sound in the brain, and the more brain a parasite inhabits, the more likely it is to survive.
Okay. So can I dance on it?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I put the chalk down? Because I hate chalk.
Yeah. And I hate chalk too, so if you like it, take it. It's really beautiful chalk. Yeah. From Hungary. Yeah. Okay.
Dance.
Yes, nuts. Good. Okay. So,
So that was like the nerdiest I could get.
okay. Then I would say we ask the audience, was it nerdy enough? No. You want nerdier?
More
Well,
nerds.
come back next year.
Yeah. Good idea. Then I would say thank you very much for like a try of being nerdy.
Yeah, I gave it a shot. You know.
Yes. Maybe you're a dork or a geek, but at least you're only 20% nerd.
I heard that a dork was somebody who picked their nose and ate it. So,
What?
yeah, forget it.
What? Please.
A
What?
dork, I was told, was a person who picked their nose and then ate the stuff they get out of the
I
nose.
see.
So I don't want to be a dork.
Like it's a kind of like auto-cannibalism.
Yeah, autocannibalism sounds okay.
Okay.
That's nerdy.
That's fine. I think it's a good like final word, like auto-cannibalism.
Yeah, autocannibalism. And
for your
have a
short-
good night.
Carlo, have a good night. You too. Evelyn Furlinger. Okay. And now it's time for a really, really wonderful person with lovely hair and wonderful dress. Do you say like wonderful dress? No, you say like wonderful clothes. Clothes. It's, of course, Oliver Hangl. Oliver Hangl! Oliver Hangl! Oliver Hangl is an old friend of the monochrom family, and
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
There he
There he is. I did a screenshot from his homepage, and we have to set up a really interesting medium. Okay. Like this. Because I'm setting it up, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Because we at Monochrom, we are great admirers of dead media. We love dead media. There are so many wonderful, they're like passenger pigeons and whatever, yeah? The Apple Newton, you name it, okay? What? Reporters, yes. Objectivity, yeah. Okay, so, and, I think it works like this, yes. Who knows what's the name of this medium? You part now, come on. Yeah, what's the name?
Overhead projector.
Overhead projector, yes. Yeah, the overhead projector. Where is the cable? The fucking cable. Where it is? Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's plug it in. And the overhead projector. Such a warm feeling.
Yeah.
Put it here. And, look, it's huge. Don't, maybe. Yeah. And we composed a little song about the overhead projector, because it's a medium of our past and it's a medium of our future. And because I'm not very good in singing, we invited Oliver Hangl, who is part of the project, to sing the song for us.
Hi.
And, yeah. Say hello. Say hello.
To your
Hi.
It's your audience now, okay? And, okay,
Peace.
I think we'll begin now. Was a little bit early.
Forget it.
When I was a little boy going to school, everybody had this thing in use. It told us about history. It told us of democracy. It told us about how this world would be. Mostly you were stored aside. You stood there dreamingly and sighed. Didn't even look too good, but everything was understood. Your apparatus nested shine. You waited humble and offline, but then they switched you on and went on certain things to understand. Just a second. Photosynthesis and foreign places, penis and vagina, USA and Canada. Overhead was where it all was at, was where it all was. Overhead, you really drove us mad. You haven't been too bad. On the walls we read what they wanted to teach, what they wanted to preach. It's over now. are dead media. Looked up on Wikipedia. Not even the collector scene does care. But in this world of PowerPoint, I miss you still, my dear old Freund. Overhead is where my mind's so sad. Urbanization. Overpopulation. The origins of life. 1945. Overhead was where it all was at. Was where it all was. Overhead. You really drove us mad. You weren't all that bad. On the walls we read what they wanted to teach, what they wanted to preach. It's over now. Overhead. I can't believe you're dead. Is there a chance you get you back again tonight to share your life? Spank you.
Where do I put it? Where are the visualists? Visual artists. What? That works quite well. Just so much power.
What have you done? I ordered them to...
What? What do I do?
It was so much work to put them in
What,
the right...
that?
In the right... Yeah.
Next time I'll do it.
Yeah, I know.
I'll do it.
Like
This time Oliver Hangl will do it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. That's good.
Okay, yes. Okay. The Overhead song, a co-production of Oliver Hangl and Monochrom. Yes. And now I have something. Fucking TH. Something for the Americans in the audience. Because, I mean, there's this concept, of flag burning, okay? Yeah, okay. It was like hell? You said, yeah? Come out here, come here. Come here. Karl Speladich, artist. You're part of the rebellion, okay? No. It's not about flag burning. This time it's about...
Microphone.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. This time it's about flag eating.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No. One more try, like a better try. I'm not sure if you're really gonna eat it now. You can take it home and eat it at home, okay?
Over the rest of my life, possibly.
You can every day.
I would wipe on this.
What on it? Wipe on it?
There's an old saying in America, most Americans would wipe on a $1 bill.
I see, like defecation.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I see. Okay. Do you want to eat it here or should we eat it at home? Here.
Yeah, right here, right now.
Okay, we'll check to you later. So
Okay, is
I
it
hope
cotton?
it's-
It feels like polyester.
100%.
That digests.
Yeah, that digests. Okay, so we'll check at the end of the show. If
Ew,
the
I don't even
recipe-
like to touch that.
No. You eat it.
What it stands
Thank you
for.
very much.
Okay. Thank you, good night.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you need your beer to
Oh
get
yeah,
it done.
of course. You get your beer, and Krach gets into position. Krach, the burping robot, now! my God, this was repetitive. Ah, what's that? Let's put it here. Krach is a marvel of modern civilization, I can tell you. Oh my God. And I tell you about a couple of other achievements of modern civilization. For example, John von Neumann. Who knows John von Neumann?
Of course.
Ah, John von Neumann, of course. John von Neumann, like cybernetics, and it was part of the Manhattan Project. He brought the world together with Oppenheimer, the atomic bomb. But, after all, he was a real freak concerning limericks. John von Neumann wrote like hundreds of different limericks, and because of our next guest, I'd like to show you a really special limerick by John von Neumann. There it is. There was a young man named Clean who invented a fucking machine. Concave or convex, it fit either sex and was remarkably easy to clean. Okay? Jim Hornig wrote a new version, which may well be the more correct version. There was a young man named Clean who invented a fucking machine, concave or convex. It could screw either sex and did itself in between. Yeah. And now, a big welcome for Violet Blue! I hope it wasn't correct. correct way to promote you?
Absolutely.
You know, like fucking machines and so like.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have a high percentage of people from San Francisco here, and you're from San Francisco too.
It's true.
And that's maybe like. There's something like San Francisco and weird people and sex and you know all this stuff. So, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yes. Except blogging.
Except blogging?
Yeah.
Oh, I do a lot of blogging. I am doing things like writing a lot of books about sex and sexuality.
Yes.
I'm doing things like podcasting about sex.
Okay.
I am teaching and lecturing about sex at community teaching institutions and different things like that, UCs, colleges. I'm also writing a column for the San Francisco Chronicle about sex. And in my spare time, working at survival research laboratories.
Okay,
building
and
big
there we have
robots.
a couple of pictures, because what's that? I mean, you're doing stuff like that in your spare time.
Yes, that's the running machine, and that's one of our sort of prize machines at Survival Research Laboratories. We have dozens of machines, but that's one of our more popular mobile robots, and that's one that I've worked on for the past 10 years, off and on, doing a variety of repairs and running it for different shows and things like that. Very elegant six-legged machine that sort of prances when it walks. Remote control.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Survival Research Lab, like yesterday I already called them like a spectacle research lab.
Because
I mean, look at that picture, the next one. I mean, what do you call that? I mean, that's fucking spectacular, or what?
Absolutely.
Okay. What's it like?
This is our Los Angeles show several years ago, and it's a really great image because it really captures a lot of what we do. You can see that we've got a very large flamethrower coming from the Boeing jet engine, and it's projecting directly at the crowd, and the crowd is backed up against the wall. So it sort of really explains how we take different types of technology and really confront the audience with the type of spectacle and art that we create.
You see the guy like left to the flame?
That's me.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
It's like you're pointing a sausage at the
No, I've got the remote control for the machine that you just saw in the previous picture, and the machine is on the other side of the fire, but I just ended up right there in the front. And in the foreground is Mark Pauline watching everything.
Roland, you look impressed. Maybe you have a question.
But that's no fucking machine, right?
It's not a fucking machine. Although I do know the people that do the fucking machine site, and I go to their place and et cetera, et cetera. I actually demonstrated a fucking machine, not on myself, on someone who was in New York when I did my second Dorkbot San Francisco presentation. I did a teledildonics demo where I controlled a machine from San Francisco and fucked a girl in New York with it, live for the audience. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. If you hack it, is it rape?
What?
It would.
If you hack the fucking machine when it's being when it's teledildonic, is it rape?
That's a really good question. Jake Applebaum is asking if you hack into a teledildonic exchange between two people via a remote interface, is it considered rape? I would say that it's certainly considered non-consensual, because you're involving yourself in someone else's sexual activity without their consent or permission.
I mean, if you have a look at all our cocktail robots, like I would say like 50% of the time they don't work at all. So I mean, how could you find out how it's not working? I mean, it's like I don't know.
I am.
We have another picture here,
Maybe
so I can help you
another
a
picture.
little bit.
Okay.
This one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, no.
That's not a fucking machine
Okay.
either. Although I do highly eroticize the work that I do for survival research laboratories. That's we're loading in for the last show, the San Jose show that we did, and that's me in the right forklift. And what we're doing is two of us in forklifts are lifting one of our giant machines up so the flatbed can drive out from underneath it, and we can put it on the ground.
Okay.
So the type of machines that we make are strange, and they're weighted oddly. There's no standard way to pick them up. There's no standard way to move them. And none of us, a lot of us come from a lot of different backgrounds. I'm a writer. One of the people I'm working with comes from a stagehand background. Another person is a blacksmith, and we just all sort of pull together to pull these shows off and do these amazing things, like this sort of forklift ballet to make our shows happen. And we're all volunteer, so it's quite an amazing thing.
Okay, so you're at Survival Research Lab, and actually all over San Francisco, you're like a big family. And the next picture, I mean, well, focus on the family. Okay?
Yes.
What's that?
Focus on the family. That's definitely Focus on the Family is a large Christian organization in the United States that has a lot of other, they're sort of an umbrella organization for a lot of other organizations that have their fingers in different aspects of government and legislation, and also just are very censorious, and they're very, very negative people in general, but you know, they're right-wing Christians. And they definitely are opposed to the types of things that we do in survival research laboratories. Like, we definitely do a lot of things to confront that type of mindset. But this picture in particular, this was right after, oddly enough, I was traveling through Colorado right after Focus on the Family had targeted 2 of my books and tried to get them pulled from public libraries across the United States.
We have a picture of one of your books as the next slide.
Yeah.
The Smart Girl's Guide to Porn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was it one of the books?
No. The 2 books that they went after were The Ultimate Guide to Fellatio and The Ultimate Guide to Cunnilingus, 2 oral sex books.
Okay.
And it's actually a funny story because I didn't know that they were in libraries, first of all, so I was pretty excited about that. And it was like, awesome, my oral sex books are in the libraries. And then, so this guy, he oddly enough named Jack Horisky, and he was, his story is that he claimed he was in the library looking for books on the Atkins diet. And in the next, high protein diet, anyone? And the next shelved over, he saw The Ultimate Guide to Fellatio, and he checked it out, took it home, read it, and was horrified, and so called, and so called all of these, called Christian organizations like Focus on the Family and said, we've got to start this campaign to get these books out of libraries. And they were actually unsuccessful because the American Library Association came out on my side and campaigned to keep my books in libraries. It's pretty amazing.
So, like, for example, the Smart Girl's Guide to Porn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could it be like considered like there are in the States there are all those dummy books like dummy, like how I call it, like
like Sex for Dummies and
you remember prostate cancer for
prostate cancer for dummies. I saw one like I mean.
I'd love to see the illustrations for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you tell a little bit about the book?
About the Smart Girl's Guide to Porn?
Because there, of course, in Europe, like in the leftist circles, there's all this discussion about, like, there are 2 sides. Like, there are actually many feminists pro-porn, but of course there are many feminists contra-porn.
That are anti-porn, yeah.
Anti-porn. So could you, like, explain a little bit about your point of view?
I definitely. That involves giving a little bit of background. About 8 or 9 years ago, I started working at a woman-run sex toy retailer in San Francisco. And their perspective on selling their products is to educate the consumer as much as possible and to empower the consumer, especially women, to be able to walk into a sex shop and say, I want to buy that vibrator, and be okay with that, so they can sort of claim their sexuality. And when I was working there, we carried a lot of porn. And I was amazed that the people that were coming into the store to buy videos were not just men, but women by themselves, or couples, or women together. Women would come in and rent stacks of porn videos for their weekend. And there was no, like, you know, you sort of have all these stereotypes about who is interested in porn and who uses porn and how they use it. And my day-to-day experience waiting on customers, they would come in and you know, I would joke with these women about the latest porn releases or the ugly new boob jobs that starlets had, as if we were discussing, like, the most recent stupid, lame but predictable blockbuster, you know, at the local Cineplex. And so it really changed my perspective on exactly who porn was being made for and how different that was than the message that we perceive in the media about how, you know, that porn exploits women, or that, you know, people only do porn or act in porn because it's their last choice, you know, because they can't get a job waitressing, which I think actually waitressing is far more humiliating than being in porn. But so that sort of made me say, okay, well, why don't I look at this from a different angle and start talking to women who are interested in porn and renting porn. So I started basically becoming a consumer advocate for porn viewers, specifically women. And to do that, I started a number of online discussion groups and using social networking sites to sort of create groups that women could join to talk about porn, and one ended up being hundreds of members that were all women, and they would just talk about porn they loved, talk about porn they hated, talk about things that offended them, and even if things offended them, they were open to talking about it. And it was really interesting because, like I said, it was nothing like any of the messages we've been given. So what I wanted to do was basically put together a consumer guide for women and anyone else who wants to read the book to be able to sort of look at porn as a sex toy. any other sex toy, so they can just sort of get from it what they want and how to use it and
there's this old
lots of
discussion
stuff.
that porn would like objectify women. What do you think about it?
I think objectification is definitely in the eye of the beholder. Take, for instance, a woman like Nina Hartley, who's been a porn performer for 25 years. She's been in like hundreds and hundreds of films, and she tours the United States lecturing in colleges from her third-generation feminist perspective about how porn has empowered her and given her a strong point of view about her sexuality, and that she just loves to do it. And she makes a lot of the porn that she's making now is sexual instruction porn, where she's teaching people about their bodies. She's a registered nurse. And she's just come out with a book. And so when you think about someone like that, it's like, how can you be objectified if it's something that you are consenting to do and something that you're embracing and it's empowering you? So the notion of porn objectifying people or people being objectified is very open to discussion. It's very open to definition.
Okay. Now I think we have a premiere on the Taugshow, or even on Octo, the community TV channel that is like broadcasting the Taugshow.
Excuse me, Johannes, you have a microphone?
Do we have a microphone?
Yeah.
Am I online? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So because like a couple of episodes ago, we had this performance by Esel, who actually showed a goatse picture. Yeah. And I didn't have a problem with just like a goatse. Okay. And it was really like aired on community TV here in Vienna. A goatse. Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
And when you sent me your pictures, and there was the next picture here too. This one. I thought, can we show that on a community TV channel? And I said, if we can show goatse, then we can show something like that. So, what is it all about?
Well, first of all, I would think that if you could show goatse on a community TV channel, that I would certainly hope that you could show something as natural as a naked woman's vagina, where life comes from, on a TV show. It's healthy, it's normal, it's natural, or it should be. That's my goal, is to change the cultural conversation about sex. Make it a normal thing, to normalize it.
Yeah, could you give me a little bit of context?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
What this is Playboy invited me to do a segment on their TV show, Sexcetera. And I don't usually do TV shows because I don't really like television. But they came to me with this really interesting idea where they wanted to take my oral sex books and do an educational version of them that wasn't the type of hardcore porn that, say, like Nina Hartley is doing, but is basically showing people how to do oral sex, but do it in an explicit way. And so this was really the first opportunity that I know of that any sex educator has had to show pleasure-based anatomy rather than reproductive anatomy, because we all learn about reproductive anatomy, but we never learn about pleasure anatomy. So this was like the chance to show it on actual people and show it being demonstrated between two actual people with a couple. And so this is what this is. I'm pointing out the clitoris and where the underground real estate of the clitoris is, the wishbone of the clitoris, and explaining how the entire urogenital system works for pleasure rather than reproduction or elimination or anything like that. So, and this was a very interesting afternoon.
Okay, thank you for commenting on the picture.
Sure.
And the next one is, that's the San Francisco Chronicle.
It is.
And I think you're right for the San Francisco Chronicle, or? I mean, you
I
wouldn't
do.
have sent me the picture if you wouldn't have, or? Or
Yeah.
is it about the no smoking?
No, it's not about the no smoking. No, it's about the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah.
I was recently hired on as the San Francisco Chronicle's sex columnist. And it's interesting, the paper is 141 years old, and they've never had a sex columnist before, which is really unusual considering how large our sex culture is in San Francisco. But it's been a very, very controversial thing, not only for the paper, but just in general, especially because I am a blogger, and I don't have a journalism background, and so I've sort of been brought into this journalism thing that's old and very conservative and very old media, and I'm very new media, and so now I'm doing this thing, and it's really crazy, and it's been very interesting. And one funny thing that happened when my column launched was that I actually got pranked. I think Vale would appreciate this. I got pranked by the Billboard Liberation Front the day that my column launched, and they took some pictures off of my website, a couple of them of me naked, and put them on bus shelters and on buses all over town with the San Francisco Chronicle logo and the SF Gate logo and all of it. So a lot of people thought that it was the newspaper that did this, but it wasn't, and I had no idea. So I woke up and...
It's like the Sex in the City.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So they were pranking me, and they were also pranking the Chronicle, and they did one right outside the Chronicle building where the publisher's office is, and he saw it first thing in the morning.
It seems they appreciate your work.
I guess.
The next one, I mean, that's rather interesting. It happens a lot in the last couple of years, like newspapers writing about bloggers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they're kind of jealous, I think.
Yeah, well, when they're not ripping off our work, for sure.
About adult-oriented podcasts, okay? You're doing one, I guess.
Yeah, well, actually, I was one of the first female podcasters. Okay. I started podcasting really, really early when it was actually quite difficult to do it. And I have always had a sex podcast, Open Source Sex, and it's erotica and it's also sexual instruction, and they're very short shows. And when iTunes changed and started adding podcasts to their mix, mine was very, very popular because it was one of the sex podcasts. And then they pulled all of the sex podcasts and they sort of censored them. And it was a big deal, and it made the news and it made the press, and they put them all back on. And this was right when all of this happened. And for some reason, they put me in the Wall Street Journal, which is just amazing because I'm not corporate, and it's just me and a laptop and a microphone, basically. So it was really interesting. And then Apple apologized to me later and invited me to their campus and gave me a tour and gave me a scarf that says Final Cut Pro on it, which is weird because I don't even have Final Cut Pro, but...
Okay, nice. I mean, and probably you end up in some like Apple party, and then you look like that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Like all the people at Apple look like that.
It's true. It's true. It's Steve Jobs. He's a bastard.
Yeah. Steve Jobs. I think I could imagine a couple of really dirty stuff with Steve Jobs, like that kind of.
I'd imagine. Well, it's the turtlenecks. He wears those turtlenecks. It's obviously a fetish.
Yeah. Concerning fetish, the next one is like, who's that's Eddie Codell.
It's Eddie Codell.
It's Eddie Codell.
I know.
It's a person with a Robotic Death Company T-shirt.
I know, it looks really scary.
Okay.
Yes. This is, I have been a guest correspondent, now I'm the roving robo reporter, that's Miss 3 R's, for Geek Entertainment Television with Eddie Codell and Irina Slutsky. And this last summer we covered RoboGames, which is by these lovely people in the audience, Dave Calkins and Simon Davalos.
Yeah, they're sitting here. He's sitting here, and you're sitting here too. You took part in RoboGames, I'm sure, right? Sure. You're the co-organizer. I would say like a big applause for RoboGames, I would say. Okay, so if they're here, I mean, I wouldn't do it if they weren't here. But
yeah. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
You have to be nice.
Yeah. No, I don't have to be nice. Yeah. Okay, so we were at RoboGames and interviewing a couple of the freaks.
Yeah, we interviewed a lot of freaks, actually.
Yeah,
all the robo freaks. It was really awesome. And lots of people with robot fetishes. It was great. And this is something that I've been doing for maybe a year now, off and on with Geek Entertainment Television. I'm not exactly sure, but it's one of my favorite things that I've gotten into, where we are just going out with a camera and interviewing people, interviewing interesting geeks and interesting robot makers and things like that, and then putting it online and making our own media. And it really speaks to a lot of my own ethics around things like podcasting, where it's like just people making media and putting as much of our own media out there as possible and covering our own events and bringing our community out and sharing it and making it free and making it accessible and growing it on our own and not depending on big media and corporate media to do it for us. And what's interesting about the type of work that we've done with GETV is that we've done that, and it's become, I think, in many ways more popular than what corporate media has been doing. And now they're sort of looking at us, and they're watching us, and they're following us. And you're talking about, like, for the first several months of Geek Entertainment Television, we'd only spent a couple of $100s of our own money, and had borrowed cameras, like borrowed camera after camera after camera, to do this thing that looked like, we may, have had money or something like that, but we were just making our own media, which I think is a really, really important thing. I think everybody needs to be making their own media right now.
There's this old punk saying that you have to produce more media than you consume.
That sounds
And
good.
I'm pretty sure you
Yeah.
do that.
Oh yeah, I do definitely. Yeah.
And it was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
A big applause for Violet Blue. Thank you very much. Good behind. Thank you very much. Okay. We are. Where is all my stuff? Yes, it is here. We are finally, I would say, coming to an end, and I just want to present you with a concept, let's call it a citizens' initiative by Monochrom. We started around a year ago, and maybe you're interested in joining it. It's called Mobutobe. So, what does Mobutobe mean? It means Citizens' Initiative by Monochrom for the Accomplishment of Total Population. Okay? That means Mobutobe refers to the calculations of Isaac Asimov, and Isaac Asimov published a paper in 1971 that there are 20 trillion, that means 20 times 10 by the power of 12 tons of living cells on Earth, okay? And 10% of these, that is 2 trillion tons, are animal cells, okay? And this number has to be regarded as the maximum level for vegetable life. Cannot increase in quantity without the increase of sunlight or a refinement of its capability to process sunlight. So it means there's always a constant level of animal cells and plant cells, okay? So, Mobutobe does not shy from the facts of animal and human life. All animal life is heterotrophic. It lives on plants that metabolize energy from the sun into chemical energy, and animal life cannot be increased in quantity without an increase of the plants it feeds on. So, the number of humans shall continue to increase. That means the Earth is capable of nourishing a maximum mass of human life equaling a momentary total mass of animal life. That would be no less than 40 trillion people, okay? So, that means the maximum average of people living on Earth for ideal Mobutobe population would be 80,000 people per square kilometer. You see? That means 80,000 people on a square kilometer, and each and every square kilometer of the Earth's surface would be occupied. So Mobutobe now propagates the construction of a multi-story building complex spanning the whole planet, and the building complex shall be constructed, let's say like the roof is reserved for plant cultivation, and there are algae as well as higher plants. And below it, there are a lot of 40 trillion cells, about 10 square meters, where all the humans would live. And of course, like the rest material, like the corpses, would be transported to the roof and would nourish the algae, and the algae would be fed to the humans. And I think that could be a really interesting, pipe transport system, consisting of human excrement. You see it? Yes. And manipulated remainders of corpses. Okay, so I want all of you to support Mobutobe. Come into our arms, trillions.
Trillions.
Trillions, yes. Yeah. Trillions?
Sir.
Yes. Okay, yeah? Let's come out of the closet. We are all heterotrophic. Once again. Let's come out of the closet. We're all heterotrophic.
Sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, please form autonomous cells.
Yep.
I mean, you can have a couple of flyers. We have them around. You can show them to anti-abortionist movements. You can show them to PETA. They all be equally upset, I would say. But it's a good thing. We should do it. I mean, if we are growing like that, it still would take a couple of 300 or 400 years. Maybe we can speed it up. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I think if we believe in the paradigms of Miss Violet Blue, we should have more sex and maybe a little bit of more reproduction, and then we can get to the Mobutobe world. I would say that would be an interesting concept. And maybe, maybe it's all bullshit and we'll all be replaced by robots soon. And I think one of the robots I would like to be is Krach. For you, I mean, it's like, it's sweet, it's for you, and it's for you, and it's maybe for Violet Blue, and maybe for Jake Applebaum. Okay? I hope he shares it. He's a big supporter of Creative Commons, you know, like creative cookies, like share them around. Okay, and thank you very much for attending Taugshow number 9. Taugshow number 10, we don't have like a fixed date yet, but there's a good possibility that the next talk show will be recorded in San Francisco, USA, and I hope that will be possible.
Yeah, me too.
I hope. And now, like, the final statement of tonight's evening could be a disco version of the Overhead song. So, one more time, please welcome Oliver Hangl, the final song, the disco song, Overhead Farewell. How is this humble? Yes. It's so sad we have to use the text. I mean, the lyrics. Oh. Come here. Come, Evelyn, come. Come. Likes to join a last sad disco song about the projector. Come here! Olaf Ranson, the content manager, come here!
Where's the producer of the song? When I was a little boy, going to school, everybody had this thing in use. Told us about history, told us of democracy, operator's nest is shine. You waited, tumble and offline, but then it switched you off and went on certain things to understand. Now Slovenia, come here, come here. They have like you stood there dreamingly inside. You didn't even look too good, but everything was understood. Oh, synthesis. Sorry. And foreign places.
Where are all the other members of Robo Exotica? Where are they? Come here.
Venus and vagina.
I know it's stupid, but what the hell?
USA and Canada. Overhead is where it all was at. It's where it all was. You really drove us mad. You haven't been too bad. You haven't been too bad. On the walls we read what they wanted to teach.
Oh, very good, very good. Forget it.
It's over. It's over. Now.
Yeah! Oh, come on! I think the song is too long. Oh. I forgot the lyrics.
I didn't know that.
That's a bridge. Ciao. Mocktail.
I would like the text. The text.
Now you are dead media, looked up on Wikipedia. Not even the collector does care. But in this world of PowerPoint, I miss you so, my dear old Freund. Overhead is why my mind's so sad. Urbanization. Overpopulation. The origins of life. 1945. Overhead was where it all was at. Was where it all was. Oh, overhead. You really drove us mad. You haven't been too bad. You haven't been too bad. On the walls we read what they wanted to teach, what they wanted to preach. It's over. It's over. It's over. Overhead. Is there a chance to get you back again tonight? To share your light. Overhead. Is there a chance to get? Is there a chance to get you back again tonight? To share your light. Spank you! Spank you! Spank you! Spank you!